Okay, guys, it's the Week 8 NFL Aficionado Fiend Fantasy Football Top 6 list. This week, I decided to do something a little bit different. The previous weeks, I have been reviewing basically the top 5, 6 lists or the top list for ESPN, Sports Illustrated, CBS, Fantasy Pros, and Rotoballer, and then averaging those lists out and then giving you the top 6 lists. And I kind of want to change it up a little bit this week. So I still reviewed those 5 lists to look at it, but then I created my own top 6 list. That way I can kind of get in sneak picks and stuff like that. Because to me, the way I was doing it before was kind of chalk. It was basically, hey, just average it out, and then there was no personal opinion in it. It just, hey, the facts are this. Out of these 5 sites, these are the top guys that when you average out all 5 sites, these are the top 6 guys that show up, which is cool. But again, there was no personal feeling in it for me, and I kind of missed that a little bit of looking at things and picking things out. That's why I was adding those sneak picks on the end. So this week, I kind of just rolled it all up into one. So let me know which way you like better. If you like, hey, me including people, because I got some crazy names out there. You know, I don't just look at it and go, oh, hey, yep, let's pick the top players. Like last week, Dak, Bo Nix, those guys were top of the list, you know. So let me know what you think. Let me know which way you like it, and we'll kind of continue on that way. And I may actually do a combination combine of, hey, this is what it averaged out, but this is what my top 6 would be if I was picking it. But like I said, for this video here for Week 8, I'm just giving you my top 6 after kind of looking at everything and reading everything, and then we'll review, because I'll actually like to know how it's kind of like predicting games. I kind of like to know, hey, how good did I do? Did I hit on the guys or not hit on the guys? So anyways, going with the top 6 QBs I'm looking at. So number 1 is a guy who started to cook, got his number 1 receiver back last week, and I think continued to roll. Monday night game, prime time, playing at home in front of Chiefs Kingdom. Obviously, you know I'm going number 1, Patrick Mahomes. And then on top of that, he's playing the Commanders, banged up. Jaden Daniels won't play. They weren't very good anyways. And I think this is a chance for the Chiefs to come out on primetime stage and announce to the entire NFL that, hey, boys, get ready, because come playoff time, we're going to be rolling. I'm kind of hoping this is the Chiefs have peaked too early type situation where they get to rolling and then, hey, they start having trouble rolling into the playoffs. But as we know, man, they went 15-2 last year, basically threw the last game away, and then made it all the way to Super Bowl before they got embarrassed. So, anyway, Patrick Mahomes is my number 1 fantasy quarterback for Week 8. Number 2, this is where I get crazy, guys, because again, I'm not going chalk. I'm taking Daniel Jones number 2 this week, playing Tennessee. I'm kind of rolling with this status quo of anybody that plays Tennessee because of how bad they are. Really start them, play them, you know what I'm saying? Run with it, because whoever it is, they're just putting up great numbers against Tennessee, and everybody's whooping up on them. So Daniel Jones is actually my number 2 quarterback this week for fantasy football Week 8. Number 3 and number 3, basically this guy is going to be playing at one of the probably the top 1 or 2 defenses in the NFL. If their offense ever gets their game together, they'll be elite. In fact, I think there's 2 elite defenses in the NFL, both of them terrible offenses. The Texans are one of them, and then the Broncos are the other. I think their defenses are elite, but the offenses aren't good enough to help those teams maintain elite defense level. So, anyways, but the quarterback that's playing them this week is following his trajectory. Gets hurt, career year, gets hurt, career year, gets hurt, career year. And basically, I think one of the best things that happened was CeeDee Lamb, high ankle sprain, goes out. Pickens steps into the number 1 role, absolutely flourishes at it. And then Jake Ferguson, they figure out how to, Ferguson was already important, but now you've got, and now CeeDee Lamb has come back. And you pretty much got 2. Currently, Pickens is playing like a number 1. I don't believe he's a number 1. I don't think he's mature enough to be a number 1. I don't think this sustains over the course of the entire season. But basically, I like to see what happens the first game where he doesn't get a lot of catches. Like CeeDee Lamb goes for 10 catches, $125. Ferguson gets 8 catches for 96 yards, and Pickens get 3 catches for 30 yards. I want to see what happens to Pickens when that game happens. But right now, hey, you got to take it for what it is. So, anyways, I think Dak Prescott is playing off the wall. He's got 2 number ones. He's got the guy Ferguson. He's got Javonte Williams, who's absolutely been an absolute steal at running back this year. So their offense is humming. And again, the NFL has gone to an offense league, so I think Denver will slow them down a little bit. But I really don't know how you slow them down. And don't forget, the Giants put 32 on these guys last week, and it took a miracle comeback finish to beat this defense. So they're getting sacks like crazy, but I don't think they're. But yeah. So I know that's crazy just saying, hey, Denver has an elite defense, but I think they would. If that offense could play better, but because that offense is so bad, the defense gets put in a lot of bad situations. So, anyways, Dak Prescott is my number 3 ranked quarterback this week, going to play at Denver. And then number 4, I'm going with the opposite aspect. I'm going to put Bo Nix at 4. I think that game last week unlocked something in them. And then 2, I think this game has the destiny to be a shootout. So if Denver doesn't put points on the board, they're not going to keep up with. You're not going to keep Dallas out of the end zone. So Denver has to score to keep up with the Cowboys. So I'm taking Bo Nix as my 4th rated fantasy football quarterback this week. And then number 5, we saw him air it out last week, and I think this is a get-right game for him. Mr. Jalen Hurts, he's got the Giants coming to town. I think he's going to want some revenge. Like I said last week, the only caveat to that is A.J. Brown is not practicing as of today. So if A.J. Brown does not play, we have to hope Jalen does it with his legs. If he does play, well, they're airing it out like crazy. So out there now to try to prove something. So Jalen Hurts, revenge game at home versus the Giants. I say he's not the 5th rated fantasy quarterback for me this week. And then, I kicked around number 6 a lot. I didn't even want to put him on the deal because I just don't know how much juice that offense is going to have. The offense has not played well all year, despite starting the year going 4 straight 30-point games. Okay, so obviously you guys know who I'm talking about. Josh Allen with the Bills. They're going to play Carolina. This game scares the crap out of me because Palmer's probably not going to play. The defense is still banged up. The Carolina Panthers have 2 solid running backs. They can just run the ball down our throats. And I just don't know where Joe Brady's going to be at offensively. Is he going to try to be a 50, is he going to go back to what he was last year, or is he going to be a sling, chuck the ball over the field, and we keep trying to hit the ball 50 yards down the field? I really believe, on a side note, I believe that UCL injury that Josh suffered, I want to say in 2022, I believe that injury did more to his arm than anybody's willing to admit. Because prior to that, I'd like somebody to look at the stats on this, but prior to that injury, he was a deep ball king. After that injury, he doesn't seem to have the accuracy when he launches the ball down the field. Even yesterday even the game on Monday night with Jordan Palmer, had he thrown a better ball, Palmer may have scored. But whenever he goes deep down the field, his accuracy wanes to where it's just, giving them tight ropes, 20 yards, 30 yards. I'm talking when he tries to chuck it 40, 50 yards down the field, he just doesn't seem to have the accuracy that he used to after that UCL injury that he played through, I believe, in 2022. But I am going to go with Josh. The Bills are going to do anything. Josh has got to be involved. Josh has got to get back to being that not making mistakes, making the right decisions, making smart plays, taking what the defense gives him, and allow playmakers to make plays. I really hope he gets the running backs and the running backs involved in the passing game. It sounds like Dalton Kincaid is going to play. He'd be a big boost. Again, Palmer probably not going to play. That sucks, but honestly, I'd rather sit Palmer and let him be ready for the Kansas City game than waste it on this game, because we really need, if we go into the game 4-3 and Kansas City is 5-3, if we beat Kansas City, if we go in 4-4 and Kansas City is 5-3, if we beat Kansas City, that means we own the tiebreaker. Kansas City will be 5-4. We'll be 5-4. Again, the victor of Baltimore don't mean crap, but really at that point, the only person we're chasing is the Colts. And hopefully they get some losses soon. Anyways, all right. So those are my quarterbacks. Mahomes 1, Daniel Jones 2, Dak Prescott 3, Bo Nix 4. Jalen Hurts 5, Josh Allen 6. Let's see how we do. Running backs, okay. Guys, this guy's playing the worst rushing defense in the NFL last week. The team they played last week put 31 points on them. The running back scored 3 touchdowns against them. So I'm going with Bijan Robinson, number 1. He's got Miami coming to home. They're the worst rushing defense in the NFL. They're absolutely in shambles right now. So Bijan Robinson should have an absolute stud breakout of a game and continue to make his claim. Excuse me, guys. Make his claim for the number 1 fantasy football 2025 running back of the year. So, anyways, I got all jumbled up. Number 2, I'm going to go with a can't go wrong. You can probably argue 1, 2 all day long. Actually, 1, 2, 3, you can probably argue all day long. The third guy, there's a reason why I have him a little bit lower. But number 2, I'm going with Jonathan Taylor. The man's been on an absolute tear this week. He plays Tennessee. Again, you see a theme. Anybody playing Tennessee is going to be on my radar. But Jonathan Taylor, 3 games this year with 3 touchdowns. Absolutely killing it. Looks like he did in his 2021 season when he went for 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns or whatever it was. 1,800 yards and 18, 19 touchdowns. Absolutely just crushing it. So Jonathan Taylor, my number 2 guy. Number 3 is the old man McCaffrey. The guy's been killing it all year. I wouldn't have drafted him, but those of you that had the stones to do it are being rewarded handsomely. The reason he's actually ranked 3rd for me right now is he's going to play at Houston. Houston has a good defense. They have no offense, but they have a great defense, and they can get after it. So, but the Niners basically don't have anybody on offense other than Christian McCaffrey. So I think he continues. This might be the last great year of Christian McCaffrey. I hope that's not true, but he's 29 years old. He's given it his all this year. If he can keep him around, some of his other teammates can get back and they can get a little healthier. Again, Bosa's out. Warner, they're done for the year, but somehow they're still 5-2. So old man McCaffrey, number 3. Number 4, I'm going with Josh Jacobs. The dude's an absolute machine. Ever since he signed with the Packers, he's just been knocking it down like crazy. We know what he did with the Raiders. He's going to play at Pittsburgh. Chase Brown just cooked them for like 130 yards, and Chase Brown ain't done nothing all season. So I believe Jacobs is going to have a monster game against Green Bay. And it seems like the formula for Green Bay is now run, protect our let our defense do what they do, run the ball. Don't force Jordan Love to be a hero. Let him be an above-average game manager. Spread the ball around. Pound Jacobs. He gets his touches. He gets his touchdowns. So going with Jacobs against Pittsburgh. So number 5 on my list. Welcome. So this guy has to have a good game. If he doesn't, he got forgot about the last 2 weeks. I don't know what the offensive coordinator was smoking or drinking about this, but the dude was an absolute stud for 4 straight games, and then it's like the offense just totally forgot how good he was. The only guy on the Buffalo Bills that has earned his contract extension this year, James Cook. I got him ranked 5th against Carolina. You can run on him, you can play on him. So I expect Cook to have a huge bounce back game. Maybe not. Maybe it's they start to utilize him passing and running, so he starts to get in that mix where he gets 25 touches, or like he gets 20 touches in a game, 5 receiving, 15 rushing, something like that. But I think Cook comes out, has a big game. Joe Brady gets back to what works. And we ride Cook and let Cook cook. Look at that. Anyways, all right, number 6. I'm going to go with Devon Achane. The little speed back his passing abilities are so awesome when he's in open field. The rest of the running backs kind of hit or miss. He's playing at Atlanta. Atlanta can get after the quarterback, but I don't think they have a great rushing defense. The Bills were cooking them for running the ball. When they did it, they just decided to, for some reason, become the greatest show on turf. So Atlanta can be run on. So I expect Achane to get out there and do what he does. Maybe break a big screen pass, something like that. So Devon Achane is my 6th rated running back for Week 8. All right. Moving on to so recap: Bijan Robinson number 1, Jonathan Taylor number 2, Christian McCaffrey number 3, Josh Jacobs number 4, James Cook 5, and Devon Achane 6. Moving on, wide receivers. Dude, this guy had an absolute monster game. I think it's only going to get better with Flacco there. The previous week he had a lot of garbage time points. So even with Jamar Chase is my number one receiver. He's back to ascending to the throne. I tell people all the time, hey, they're going to be chucking the rock over there in Cincinnati. And even if he's got garbage time stats, fantasy football don't care if it's garbage time or when the game's actually on the line. 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, even if you do it at the end of the game when it don't matter. So Jamar, and he's playing the Jets, who are an absolute train wreck. They have no offense. Breece Hall's probably not going to play. Wilson's out. They're probably going to go with Tyrod Taylor. So they're just bums and got nothing going on. So I'm going Jamar Chase, number one overall. Number two, I'm going to go with Rashid Rice. He's got Washington home. Again, I go back. Mahomes is my number one quarterback. I'm going to take his number one receiver who just came back. The guy had a great comeback game last week, scored 2 touchdowns, didn't get over 100 yards rushing or 100 yards receiving, but I think he's just going to get better and better. In fact, last year before he got hurt, I actually predicted Rashid Rice would finish as the number one receiver in fantasy football. A little tough with what Jamar Chase did last year, but I believe that my bet right now, if you take Rashid Rice starting in week 7 and compare him and Chase, whoever you want, but take Rice from 7 to the end of the year when the games matter, Rice will probably end up as the number one fantasy receiver because Mahomes has been salivating for this guy to come back to his offense. And I think he's just going to cook. I mean, he opens everything else up. So anyways, Rice, number 2. Then at number 3, little concerned about this one, but I'm going to go with talent. Justin Jefferson, number 3 at the Chargers. I wasn't going to rank him because the quarterback situation out there is so terrible. It's a Thursday night game. Don't really like Thursday night games. But then I remembered, hey, the Colts just spanked the Chargers. The Giants spanked or not the Giants, but somebody else beat the Chargers. So I said, you know what? I'm going to trust Jefferson to have a big game against that Chargers defense because I don't think they're as good as we thought they were early in the season. So Justin Jefferson is my number 3 wide receiver for fantasy football in Week 8. This is where we go a little crazy, guys. But I'm going to take that awesome rookie in Tampa, Nick Emugba. I'm butchering his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm going to take him as my number 4 wide receiver in fantasy football. He's going to play New Orleans. I just believe if Tampa Bay is going to get back on track, he's got to get back in the game. Mike Evans out. Chris Godwin won't play. You got that rookie Johnson, but Bucky Irvin's not going to play. And really, so if they get him going, boom. So I think it's critical that he gets rolling and stuff like that. And I just don't think the Saints can hang. Tampa Bay lost to a really good team last week, but I think they can beat up on the soup can. So Nick Emugba, butcher that name, wide receiver, the amazing rookie wide receiver from Tampa Bay this year. Number 5, again, this is where we go off the rails. I'm actually going to take Cortland Sutton against Dallas. I think it's going to be a shootout out there. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and Sutton has to get his catches. There's no other receiver in Denver who has the talent that Sutton has. There are other niche guys, but Sutton is the true number 1. I believe he has to have a huge game. I didn't go with Lamb. Now, I want to say something about this. I didn't go with a Dallas receiver, Pickens or Lamb, because I don't know which one is going to draw Surtain. So basically, if that is the where I had to pick it because I don't really know who's going to be the guy to get Surtain, and then the other guy's going to be the breakout guy. So that's a side note that I definitely think Lamb and Pickens are strong plays. It's just one's going to have an all-pro corner on him. The other one, or they're going to move them all around. I don't know if Surtain is going to move. They're going to keep him on one side of the field, but that's why I didn't include Pickens or Lamb in this, and I'd probably take Lamb because I think he's just him chasing Jefferson to me are the top 3 receivers in the league. I think Rice gets there this year, but those are the top 3. So got Cortland Sutton at number 5, and then number 6. This guy, boomer bust, but I think he has to have a big game for them to have a chance to win. I went with Quentin Johnson from the Chargers. The dude's been putting it on this year. He had a huge catch. I mean, he's clearly the number 1 receiver out there. Or he's the big play receiver out there. I know they were chucking the ball all over the field. Keenan Allen had a good game, you know what I'm saying? But to me, the big play guy, the boomer, the guy who really makes the difference in the game is Quentin Johnson. So I actually have him as my 6th rated wide receiver. Again, he's playing at home against the Vikings tonight, so we'll see how that goes. And I don't think the Vikings secondary is as good as we thought it is. I think that there's some holes in that scheme that are starting to be exposed. Because, like I said, I believe Brian, it's the scheme in the Vikings land versus the actual players are that talented. It's just Brian Flores scheming his butt off, making him look good. So Jamar Chase number 1, Rashid Rice number 2, Justin Jefferson number 3, Ibuka number 4, Cortland Sutton number 5, and Quentin Johnson number 6. Again, but like I said, I prefaced earlier, I didn't pick Lamb or Pickens in this lineup because I just don't know which one's going to get Surtain. So probably whichever one doesn't get covered by Surtain, I would probably take the other one. And honestly, I would rank him. I would probably rank him probably above Jefferson, so they would be the 3rd receiver on my list. Because to me, Chase and Rice are just absolute studs, so go get them. Anyways, those are the top 2 by far to me with the other ones. Remember, we have 6 teams on bye this week, so that's why there's some big names missing out there. Anyways, moving on to tight end. I'm going to fumble right into that. Tyler Warren playing Tennessee. Again, Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor. I didn't have a wide receiver from Indianapolis, and then Tyler Warren. That dude's an absolute stud. McBride's out this week, but so Ferguson, and McBride are really battling for that one spot. McBride is well ahead of those 2 guys, but Ferguson and Warren are battling for that 2nd spot in tight end. So, So Warren ranked number 1 overall for me. Number 2, obviously Jake Ferguson. Dude's been on a roll. He's always had a connection with Dak. Last week, 7 catches, 29 yards, 2 touchdowns. So that helped him out. But I just think he's got a good rhythm going, and basically he'll be able to soften up that defense a little bit in Denver. And Dak is having a great year. He's humming the ball, and Dak and Jake have a connection that just, it's not on a Mahomes, Kelsey level, but you can clearly tell there's a connection there. Kind of like Dak and Lamb are on a connection. So, anyways, Jake Ferguson, my 2nd tight end this week. Number 3 is a guy who, again, he had 1 big game, so I was kind of always bashing him for making it in the top 6 list. But I'm going to ride with him this week. Tyler Kraft, he had another good game this last week. I think he may finally be healthy, and so that you may be seeing, he got injured after that big 10-catch game, and so now I think he's finally healthy. You'll start to see more of what we saw in that one game. So, and he's going to play at Pittsburgh. Again, I think out of the group out there, I think he's the most talented. I think he's the most trusted receiver in that offense for Jordan Love. I think Matthew Golden's the most talented, and so, but hey, we'll go with Kraft for number 3. Number 4, this one's a crazy pick. You're gonna laugh at me, but I actually went with Kyle Pitts playing that terrible team in Miami. I think they're in disarray. He's starting to have better games. Really, the key is Pinks. How well does he play? How well does he do? But basically, remember, the tight end land is barren. George Kittle was 4th last week, and he basically got you 0 points. So, that's where I'm going with Kyle Pitts, number 4. Number 5, I'm going to go with Evan Ingram of Denver. He's playing Dallas at home. Again, I think that's going to be a track meet where those teams just go up and down the field. And I think Evan gets some big catches and yards in that game. Because to me, in that offense, I think Cortland Sutton and Evan Ingram are the most trusted veteran catchers, and the rest of the guys are kind of niche guys that get open. And then number 6, still questionable if he plays. I'm hoping he does. He definitely needs to for us to have a real shot to win this game. But Dalton Kincaid, the dude's starting to have his breakout year in year 3. Unfortunately, after he had his first 100-yard receiving game, he shows up on the injury report. He's week to week or day to day. I think he's week to week right now. Love to see him play, but honestly, I'd rather have him in Kansas City, and I'd rather have him at the end of the season for the playoffs than a couple wins. I don't care about September champs. I don't care about October champs. I care about playing deep into January and finally getting that elusive ring. But for now, I'm going to say he's playing, so Dalton Kincaid is number 6 on my list. Kickers, this dude's the undisputed number one guy. I'm pretty much pencil him in for the rest of the season. For those of you that have him on your team, just basically start him at all. He's a what I call plug and play. Brandon Aubrey going to play Denver, that thin air up there. I think it's going to be a shootout. So ride Aubrey till the wheels fall off, basically. Number 2, familiar theme here, Mr. Bagley for the Colts against Tennessee. I think the Colts are going to roll. I think it's going to be over by the third quarter, and then Mr. Bagley's going to get some cheap shot field goals in to give him garbage time points. But remember, in fantasy football, we don't care if it's when the game counts or when it's in garbage time. All we care about is how many points you score, how many yards you get. So Bagley is my second-rated kicker because he's playing them bum-ass Tennessee Titans at home. Then number 3, I'm going with the Denver kicker, Will Lutz. Again, I think that game is going to be a shootout. Obviously, if you want to be a part of a shootout, you just hope there's some field goals kicked in there, and they're not just scoring touchdowns. That's the dangerous part about being in shootouts and games with great offenses. Hey, they scored 44 points, and the guy kicked, whatever field goals that is, and we got only one field goal. Versus give me the kicker that's in the 19 to 10 game, and he kicks 6 field goals or 5 field goals. You know what I'm saying? Give me that guy. What I call a field goal offense is what I call it. A field goal offense where, hey, they can move the ball in between the 20s, but when they get in that red zone, they're just not that team, so they end up kicking a lot of field goals. Anyways, all right. So Lutz, number 3. And then number 4, Cameron Dicker. Man, really, there's just not a whole lot of great teams. The kickers are really sporadic. But I'm gonna go with Dicker. I think he's gonna score some points. I see a lot of movement between the 20s between these two teams, but I don't know how many touchdowns I see him getting in the end zone. Especially it's a Thursday night game. The Chargers coming off that butt whipping at the Colts, so we'll go with it from there. Number 5, I'm gonna go with Harrison Buckner. Gets Washington home again. I think they're gonna beat the brakes off of the Commanders. Didn't see the Redskins. Did I say Commanders? So I'm getting better at it. But I think the Chiefs are going to beat the brakes off the Commanders, and so Buckner, I want a piece of that. Again, I just have to hope they kick some. I hope they kick some field goals. Just like I don't know how many of you guys last week, but actually last week when the Chiefs were up 31-0, and they were down on inside the 10-yard line, and they went for it on a 4th and goal from the 7-yard line. I know that cost people. It cost me a victory. Because of that. I heard some rumors that Andy Reid felt bad, but to me that was kind of cheesy and felt like they were trying to score points. Again, kick a field goal is a give me, or you go for a touchdown to make it 38. So anyways, but hopefully Andy Reid, helps us out and doesn't keep going for it on 4th down. Let's Buckner get some field goals. But Buckner, my 5th-rated kicker, and then number 6, I'm going to go with McPherson. They're playing the Jets. The Jets are actually train wreck of a team right now, 0-7. Half their offense, all their good playmakers are out. Tyrod Taylor might start. And Joe Flacco, I think old man Flacco is coming back with a little bit of a vengeance. Wants to prove old Mike Tomlin wrong. Hey, I can still play. And, I actually have a good friend that's a Baltimore fan. And I actually texted him when Flacco was there. And I said, hey, for all of what Flacco has been through his career, right now he's playing with house money because he's got a ring. He's been a successful quarterback. Now he's just going out there and he just plays free and I don't care, dude. I'm 40 years old. I'm still good enough to start in the NFL. I'm just gonna chuck the ball until my arm falls off. Really glad to see it for him. But yeah, my buddy said, old Joe Cool Flacco, man, still getting it done. So he was excited for him as well. So McPherson, I think they're going to put a ton of points on the Jets. So that's why I want a piece of McPherson. He's my 6th-rated guy. So to recap, Brandon Aubrey number 1, Bagley number 2, Will Lutz number 3, Cameron Dicker number 4, Dicker the kicker, and then Harrison Buckner number 5, and then Evan McPherson number 6. Moving on to the defenses, familiar theme here. Who do you think I'm going to pick as the number 1 defense this week? If you guessed the Colts, you're absolutely right. Again, Tennessee is trash. They got one lucky win. They're a dumpster fire. So take the Colts. I think they're going to roll. They're at home. Basically, I think they're just going to get up quick. That's going to allow that defense to just pin its ears back, go after the quarterback, try to create some turnovers, and make some things happen. Number 2, it pains me to say this, but I'm going to take the Patriots. Again, I don't think that the Browns have a very good offense. I think Dylan Gabriel's not that great. Variable is a great coach. I'm still shocked that Tennessee decided to fire him when they did. The Patriots said thank you very much, and I think the year he took off has him rejuvenated. He's got a great quarterback in May, but he's putting a stamp on that defense. They're starting to play the old school. You remember, Variable played under Belichick. He coached under Belichick, so I think they're starting to put those principles back in. So I'm going to take the Pats as a second deal because they got the Browns at home. Number 3, I'm going to take the Falcons. Again, I think Miami's trash. Basically, I don't think they're very good. I think they're another dumpster fire. Wouldn't be surprised if those guys start trading pieces off, and the Falcons can get after the quarterback, knock Tua out, make things happen, see what happens. Tua's going to start, but maybe they get him benched again. So Atlanta Falcons number 3 for me. Number 4 is the Chiefs. Again, I think that Chiefs offense is going to roll, which is going to put pressure. Mariota's playing. It's not Jaden Daniels, which honestly Jaden Daniels hasn't played that great this year, so I don't really see there's much of a difference between the two quarterbacks. Let me know if you think differently. Again, I'm not judging him on what he did last year. I'm talking about this year. That's one of the things always when you have these great rookie quarterbacks come out. Let the defenses get a year of game tape on them and then see what happens. I mean, the same thing happens to the Bills' offense. Once teams had a year of time to study what Joe Brady did last year, they're kind of taking it all away. Nope, we know what you did. We see what you got. You're too predictable in your formations and your personnel lineup. So, anyways, Chiefs are actually going to stomp, which means that defense is going to get the pin its ears back. Spagnuolo can go after it. So, picking the Chiefs at number 4. Number 5, I'm going to take the Packers. Micah Parsons. It's a Sunday night game. Rashawn Gary, I think they're going to get after it. I think the defense is pretty good. I think if they can get some points up on Pittsburgh, old man Rodgers can't run no more. So if there's a chance where they get a 10, 13 point lead and that defense can pin its ears back, I think Rodgers is in for a tough night. I think he's going to get hammered. And again, it's the Sunday night game. All eyes on the Packers. Really a chance to atone for some of those losses they've had this season. And then last but not least, I'm going to take the Texans 6. The Texans, I believe, like I said, if they had an offense that was competent, that defense would be elite. But unfortunately, don't. So, last week they forced 4 turnovers and still lost the game. How do you do that? You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely love the Texans defense. Again, like I said, to me, they're the top defense in the NFL. They just don't have an offense that plays complementary football with them. Same way Denver. If Denver's offense was competent and Houston's offense was competent, those defenses we'd be talking about those defenses terrorizing defenses. But unfortunately, they don't. But anyway, so to recap, the Colts are number 1, the Patriots are number 2, Falcons number 3, Chiefs number 4, Packers number 5, Texans number 6. So anyways, that's my top 6 list for the week of quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, kicker, defense. I really am excited about this new format of actually putting my own personal preference and what I think of the deal into the rankings versus just kind of regurgitating what 5 other sites are putting out there. So let me know if you like the new format. I think I'm going to stick with it for a while, especially the recap bit. I think the recap bit will be much more interesting because I'll get to see on the hits and the misses, and we'll really dial it in and go from there. So, anyways, let me know what you think. Let me know who you're starting. Let me know some of your people that you think, hey man, you missed out on this guy. He's going to be huge. But again, I don't like chalk players. So if you're just going to tell me, hey, the normal top 5, I've even seen Lamar Jackson in the top 4. That's crazy. The guy ain't played in I don't know how long, and he's got a hamstring deal. And that offense wasn't rolling before he got hurt. So it's crazy to me that, it's Lamar Jackson. He's going to score. No, that's not how it works. So anyways, all right. So anyways, the Fiend's out. I'm going to get the video out before the game starts. Let me know what you think. And it's like I said, let me know a player that I might have missed or overlooked in my deal. And love to hear about it. Make comments down below. And again, we'll do the recap video on Tuesday as well, so we can go over this and see how I did against all the players. Okay, you guys stay safe out there, and good luck in your fantasy leagues this week. And hopefully everybody comes away with a dub. Talk to you later. Bye.